Welcome back to another season of Hunt for the Harvest. Early season's been a little tough for us as we've seen drought throughout most parts of the Midwest. Fortunately for us, there's cooler temps coming, some precipitation in the forecast, it's pre-rut, and the big bucks are starting to move in. October 31st, Halloween. We're going to be heading up on a ridge tonight. We're going to be hunting over a scrape line where this big 10-pointer's been showing up on camera. Hopefully we can connect with them, or at least lay eyes on them. Night was pretty slow. We did see some younger bucks cruising this ridge line, looking for does, making some rubs, but just due to the warmer weather, we didn't see much for mature buck movement. I kind of figured as much. When it warms up like this, even during the pre-rut, it slows them down. They're still moving in daylight, just not as far. They might only be moving 50, 60 yards, where you might need them to move 100 to 200, to make it to where you're at, or where their rub line is, or scrape line, or things like that. So pay attention to your trail cameras and look and see what time they're showing up at night, and that'll kind of give you an idea how far away they're probably bedded. So that all brings up today's topic. Today's topic is weather, and does weather affect deer more than time of season, whether that be early season, pre-rut, rut, or late season, moon phase. It could be moon position, wind direction. What is the most important influencer? And in my opinion, it's definitely weather. Even during the pre-rut, if it goes from 40 degrees to 70 degrees, the likelihood of that deer moving very far in daylight is very, very slim. So that being said, I pay attention to weather probably more than anything else. And last night, it's October 31st, Halloween, pre-rut, tons of scraping, tons of rubs. I'm sitting right on a primary rub line. It's just a killer setup. Does bedded all over this ridge top. It's a good recipe to see a mature buck, or get a shot at one. But it also was 65 degrees, so I should have known better than to hunt that evening. I'm just leaving scent behind. Sometimes it's better just to call it a night, or go on a scouting mission, maybe scout a field edge, scout from afar. If you got some lookout points on the farm, even if you wanted to watch that ridge, do you have another way you can look at it from maybe 400 or 500 yards back from where your really good stand locations are? So even though it is pre-rut right now and we're transitioning into the best time of the year, it's 65, 70 degrees out in most of the Midwest. It's not going to be that great of movement. And you can sit on food sources, you can sit on ag, sit on primary scrapes, things like that. But if that deer is not right next to those spots, the likelihood of him getting there before dark are really slim. So what I noticed was 3 nights in a row I hunted, and I really probably shouldn't have, but I had a good wind. It was northeast, which is super safe, right in my face, easy access to a creek. No matter what stand location I go to, it's a good setup. Every single night when I left, it was about 6:30 to 7 o'clock. And by 8:30, I'd have either the Big 10 that I'm after, or this other 8-pointer that's been showing up, between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. So that tells me they're not that far away, but they're far enough away that by the time they start moving, it's already dark. So all I'm doing is going in, risking when I'm leaving, bumping that deer, leaving a scent trail behind, things like that. So don't get too hyped up just because it's the pre-rut or rut. You need to think about the weather, time of day, different things like that before you go in there. So it sucks because if you don't have a cold front for the next 5 days, what are you going to do? You're going to sit at home. Like today I'm just working on the computer, but I'd rather be out in the field this evening. So what I look for is I'm going to be looking for the highs and lows. Those lows are going to be what your morning temperatures are going to be. So even though it's 70 from noon all the way until, late evening. If it drops to 40 at night and it's going to be 40 the next morning, well, that next morning is going to be definitely better for mature bucks to be moving than that evening 70-degree movement. So you might have to switch your tactics. Even if you're somebody that likes to hunt afternoons, you feel that afternoons are safer. This is a time of year in the pre-rut, especially when those bucks, they're cruising, scrape lines, they're looking for does. They might hang up a little bit longer, might give you a little bit better chance in the morning to slip in there before he gets back to bed. Or you can do what I like to do, and this has really changed the way I hunt, and it's helped me not bump so many deer, is when I hunt mornings, I get there dark, but I wait till gray light to walk in. That way that deer's already got back to bed, and by the time I get up to those bedding areas, they're already all settled. And then what they end up doing is they get up out of their bed and they mosey around. I've watched deer many, many times bed down right underneath me, next to me, maybe 100 yards away, could be 5 yards underneath the tree. And what they do is they lay down for about half hour, get up, feed, lay down again. So when you hunt those bedding areas, you can learn a lot about what the deer are doing. But again, if the weather's really cold, I'm going to see them move and get up a lot more than I do when it's warm. When it's warm, I might see them lay down. They might lay there for 2 hours. So keep that in mind, guys. Even though it is the pre-rut right now, you got to pay attention to weather. Weather is the most important influencer in mature buck movement. And if you want to get on mature bucks and you want to be, in the game, you're really going to have to pay attention to not only just the wind direction, but the weather front coming through. And that could just be precipitation, or it could be a cold front. I pay attention to both. Say it's not going to be that cold that night, but you got some precipitation coming through. That might be enough to get them to move a little bit earlier. Definitely pay attention to weather. That's the number one influencer. I hope that helped you guys out for the remainder of this pre-rut and rut, and pay attention to the weather. And if you have to, take a couple nights off or take a few mornings off, or if you're working a 9 to 5, just keep working for a few more days. Wait to take your vacation time until the weather is right. And I hope that helps you out this coming season. Thanks for tuning in on another episode.